Hello, everybody. Broke a string. Yeah, I hope so. I think we're on. Looks like it.
Yeah, there we are.
Hang on. Where was I? Hang on. Let's
At
put this
Tom's
over
Guitar
here.
Show, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's get going.
At your neighborhood network.
That's
Public
right.
access television.
That's right. That's us.
At the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette.
That's even where we are. Oh yeah. Hey.
And here's
sure.
our fearless leader.
Let's
Step on camera, fearless leader.
let's cut it off, huh? Can you? Is there a wire cutter area on there?
Yes.
Here.
Can that be
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's all gonna happen.
So for everyone who wondered who runs this operation, there it is.
No, that's a boss. I'm just Guitar Tom. All right, let's say
Why did they call you Guitar Tom?
because I'm often seen with the guitar. They used to call me on the phone all the time asking questions.
Can I ask you what your show is about?
Yeah,
What's your show about?
that's about an hour. About guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitars. I'm sorry, it was Dusty. I'm sorry. I was all ready to go and everything, and then I broke a string. And then I went over to the musician's pro shop, and then I hang on. I gotta turn this down a little bit here. There we go. You're making a lot of noise, aren't you? Okay. Okay, yeah, so first thing I gotta do is I gotta play this little song. That's too loud. Hang on. All right, so turn the gain down even more. And then we'll turn the... Better. This guitar is just too hot. It's too hot. It's too hot, baby. It's... All right. Did we get the preamble all together? I mean, I would say, hello, everybody.
Now we told them who you are and what the show's about.
Yeah, okay.
Very briefly.
All right,
It's
well...
really about more than that, isn't it?
Well, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. It's how we fill the hour. Every week I have grandiose plans. I have this. I've done these programs before where I have a whole, row of pedals across the floor, and I do the one that makes it sound like a. Hey, there he's going out. Hey, he's going out with his weed whacker. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry. Squirrel! No, I was looking. Gerardo is going out with his weed whacker. He's going to do a bit of editing of the parking lot. And anyway, but I like that editing.
Edit the foliage.
Edit foliage. I went to the barber that had my head edited. But anyway, yeah, what was I saying? I'd like to do this whole thing. I've got pedals that make your guitar sound like an organ, like a pipe organ or electric organ from the 60s or Farfisa or something, sound like marimbas or something like that. I've got ones that crunch it, make it all crunchy and fuzzy, and ones that make it all spacey and weird. And I do want to do that, pedal board show again, but actually, I'm thinking about this thing. It's okay. I've done this sort of stuff on Tom's Guitar Show before, and there are all kinds of like rig rundown videos on YouTube and stuff. And I think that's all very interesting. And I'm not. I have a lot of pedals, but I don't have a huge number of pedals like some people who are totally crazy about it. But I have a lot of pedals, and I do fool around with sound quite a bit. There are people who are experts at this sort of thing. But I was thinking, because I have we start school again tomorrow at College. I have to shave. There was a summons. They want some faculty members to do what they call recital hours. Usually a student project where you do a lecture concert. And of course, some poor sophomore or something, who is maybe a little bit timid and stuff. And it doesn't really maybe know that much yet. It's a terrible thing for them, terrible burden. For a guy like me, it's fun. Getting up and demonstrating and playing, guitar stuff.
It's what you do every week of the world on here.
That's right. I just don't say it's my normal activity. So it'd be like Soup Girl having a bowl of soup,
Yeah.
But anyway, so I guess to make my short story just that much longer, I said, count me in, and I have to give him get a date, set. By thinking, what shall I do? The most logical thing is classical guitar. I could bring a couple of guitars and do a little lecture concert bring my antique guitars and a more contemporary one and play pieces, maybe from the era that the guitar was built. Sure, and I love classical guitar, and I think everybody should learn. Well, not everybody should learn classical guitar. Anybody who wants to play guitar should at least have some training in classical guitar. It really makes life much better. I mean, you can understand the instrument better if you But
or take a banjo in, like Shakey's Pizza, and play some sing-along stuff.
I suppose. Well, maybe. I used to go to Shakey's, and I went up and talked to the banjo player when I was a teenager. They still had that, and she was quite informative. But she was a career plectrum banjoist. But anyway, she's probably kind of weird, but you'd have to be, wouldn't you? Anyway, so I guess all I'm saying is, I'm thinking I'll sign up for it. I've told them I'd do it. I haven't scheduled it yet. But some Thursday afternoon this semester, I'm going to go do something interesting. And brightly colored electric guitars with lots of weird pedals that's a start. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it.
Play some headbanger stuff on your Flying V?
Maybe. I mean, I could. Of course, a gentleman is someone who knows how to play headbanger music but chooses not to.
Little Gene Autry stuff on your, say, acoustic guitar?
I suppose. I could never sing that high, though. I just think it'd be fun.
Well, Tex Ritter, then.
There you
High
go.
noon.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling. Yeah, this is it's quite a guitar. This is a Reverend Manta Ray, and I've had it on the show once or twice before. I think it was sort of an afterthought of my blue guitar show, because I have a modest collection of blue guitars. But the thing about this, I got this, it's a hollow body. It's a very thin, thin line hollow body. And I have two very thin hollow bodies, and I've had this issue, I wanted to have a heritage guitar built for me, which would be basically a copy of a Gibson guitar from the 1950s. Built, in the original factory in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where Gibson used to be before they moved those operations to Nashville. And some of the people who used to work at Gibson still work, at the Heritage. Because what happened was Gibson moved out of town, and some of the employees who didn't want to go along with them, so they started their own thing, taking over part of the original building. And I guess the floors are kind of wavy. It's an old factory, in Kalamazoo. So they build these guitars, and you order them. It takes you months to get one, but they build one so you get the shape you want, and you can get like some choice of pickups, and you get these different shapes, designs, copies of Gibsons, maybe tweaked a little bit in their own image and so forth, and then you get your choice of finishes. And there were some months, several months when I was thinking about this, looking at lots of what I called Gibson porn on the internet, and thought, oh, wow, man, I would like to get that one with that amber, the curly maple top and the amber, finish, shiny, glossy, amber-colored finish on it, And, but, I just, so I was thinking, okay, if I ordered it, and if I could give the, guy, if I could, like, rustle up, like, $125 a week for 6 months, every week I give the guy $125, I might have it paid off when it was delivered, you see. And I'm not saying I'm still not going to try to do that, but, I don't know. But this thing here and the other very thin, easy to hold hollow body electric guitar that I have, which is a Diamond Imperial. This is, of course, a Reverend Manta Ray. And basically, I think some people would, treat this as a rock and roll guitar. But for me, now all I have here is I have a Vox AC-10 little tube amp. This one here, that one here. And I have the reverb up about halfway, which is kind of a lot of reverb, actually. Spring, natural. I mean, it's not natural, I guess. It's probably, it's electronic, okay. But just basic reverb and nothing else. This is just a guitar with a rather small amp turned down really low. I mean, it's not turned up very loud at all. It's a loud amp. This is a very hot guitar, very hot pickups. But I get all these shimmering tones out of it. And I can't, between this one and the Diamond Imperial, very thin line hollow body, I can't tell you which one I love the most. It's like if you have two kids. Somebody says, yeah, which one do you like better? You can't answer a question like that.
Doesn't matter, you got them both.
That's right. Right, but I don't have to choose. I mean.
It ain't Sophie's choice.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Sophie's Choice, but anyway. So, so I could take them down to the pawn shop and take one down to the pawn shop and get pennies on the dollar because I'm desperate. But I'm not that desperate because I can't see myself being that. I mean, I don't make necessarily enough money to live the lifestyle that I want, but
But you live within your means.
well, basically, yeah. There's some deficit spending involved, but I keep working. The thing is, I have this guitar acquisition syndrome problem, which is basically I'm trying to really keep it at bay because I have so many nice guitars to play, But my drug habit actually is, aside from various pharmaceutical drugs that you don't, that aren't any fun to keep my blood pressure and blood sugar and stuff regulated, things like that.
Old guy stuff.
Old guy stuff, yeah. Little pills you take. But at least for now, my insurance helps me pay for those. But the only like recreational drug, and I'm not even sure if it is because I'm addicted to it, is coffee. So and sometimes I'm trying to drink tea in the afternoon when I need it, But the coffee in the morning, and pretty good coffee and pretty strong. So it's not the cheapest coffee, But it's the kind you grind up there at the Hy-Vee store. And I don't have my own grind. I had one that doesn't work very well, so I grind it there, and I'm not total. But I get, two small mugs. Used to be one big mug. Now two smaller mugs in the morning, and then maybe sometimes I'll drink iced tea. Maybe I'll drink hot tea. I don't know. Maybe in the when it gets cold out. But see, I don't have that the expensive stuff like. I mean, what would a night in the town cost a fella? I mean, if you just want to drink a bunch of beer and smoke a pack of cigarettes, cigarettes like $5. I don't even know what beer costs anymore. It's like $4 or something for a glass of beer or something, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I see ads when somebody has a Thursday night special for $2, but yeah, I think probably 3 or 4 most of the time.
So if you just wanted to go like slam a bunch of beers and watch a sporting event, now you can't smoke in the bars anymore, but I mean, it used to be the pack of cigarettes was like 50 cents, and then a beer was a quarter back when I was just a young pup. But
That's when I dropped out of cigarettes, is when they got up 50 cents a pack.
yeah, that's a good reason. But now it's like $5, I'm thinking, okay, well, so if you spend like, $35, $50 a week on your cigarettes, and then you spend like what, well, if a beer is $5 and you drink like, if you like to drink heavily, that's $50. So, I mean, yeah, we're talking, I mean, okay. So, anyway, my guitar habit's at bay, so, at the moment. But, this was an extravagance a year or so ago, or more, buying this thing. And it looks new, it was a little dusty. It played, I mean, I have...
How do you tell the difference between a new guitar and an old guitar? As long as it's not, busted up and cracked or has holes worn in it like Willie's.
Like Willie's, but they get dinged up and stuff like that. The other thing that happens is they get, they age. Like the natural wood would darken with time. And I've
But
had
if you
that.
don't know what color it started out,
Right. Or if it's painted or something. No, I mean, I have one of my most beloved Stratocasters, which I really don't take out very often. I got in the mid-'90s. I think it was a 95, actually, vintage. And I had I replaced the pickups on it. But, I mean, if I hold that one up and I hold one up that I bought last spring, like the black one and the blue one's old. Which one looks, well, I guess the neck looks paler on the, okay, so I have a Mexican one that has a darker neck. It's like slightly stained and the varnish on it, but you couldn't tell. And I have a guitar that I play of 1983. I have one hanging on the wall from 1820 something, and it does look like an antique, but it plays still. And I got one from 1930, plays just fine. So the thing about a guitar is you can get the guitar, and then that's what I think. I don't know, maybe I'm violating the rules here, but West Music, partially because of my fault, acquired a Hermann Hauser copy. This is the guitar, classical guitar that Hermann Hauser, who was a German, he built for Segovia in 1937, and it was I don't know, I forget the exact stuff. I mean, I used to know how many years it was. He presented Segovia with 1 or 2 guitars a year, and Segovia would send them back, say not good enough, and then he built that one guitar, and and that was Segovia's guitar for decades, Hermann Hauser. So, and a lot of guitars are patterned after it. Well, anyway, so the one West Music has this one, and it's used, hanging up on the wall there. It's like it's over a couple $1,000s, but it's really a good deal because it's used, and they acquired it kind of by accident. It's a long story, but I asked them to get it so that I and a bunch of other classical guitarists could try it out. And they ended up having to keep it. They could send it back, So they have it hanging up there. So it's kind of a lot of money, but I submit that if you wanted to play classical guitar, you could buy that guitar, and it would you would never need another one, and your grandchildren could play that guitar, like your grandchild could play that guitar in a long career, and you never need another one. It would be fine. It would be fine long after you're gone. If you bought it, you could sell it again for, certainly what you bought it for. But it's a different kind of thing because, you can get a guitar for $99 made in Indonesia out of particle board or something. And I've had a lot of students who start with those things, and they get really tired of them pretty fast. You could explore the... Anyway, never mind. I'll save it for the long winter nights. You know what I played, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, I heard it through the grapevine.
Oh,
Does that sound like that to you?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, good, good.
I missed it.
Walking out here like a great raisin, rather.
Oh yeah, like the California raisins, yeah. Well, I was just thinking because I played it for somebody and they didn't know it. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I know that song." And then people say, "I don't know, I never heard it before."
I'm surprised I missed it.
I mean,
It used to be on TV every day.
yeah, with the California raisins. But the thing is, I've heard it, but I think maybe what I'm doing is different. Maybe they're listening to something that I'm not, because I'm listening to the chord structure. I mean, I played the right notes, pretty much. It's just that it wasn't, it wasn't that production, right? I mean,
That's probably it. You were tuned into the chord structure, and that's probably not the level that most people listen to, at least popular music.
right.
They're more into the lyrics and the rhythms and the timbres and stuff like that. So,
I was teaching bass lessons to a woman, a music therapist who has a long history with music and a lot of training in music and stuff. And I was trying to get her to listen to the bass part. Now, this is somebody who knows a lot about music and played piano and guitar and the bass. So I was teaching her bass. And when I think of bass, I'll listen to a song and I'm just totally honed in on that bass part. But she really couldn't do it because she immediately went to the vocals and the words and the song. And and me, I'm thinking like a guy from the rhythm section. I don't care what they're singing about. I want to listen to that bass groove. They can't even hear that. A lot of people can't even hear that. I mean, I guess I can hear the vocals and the words and stuff, and I can't always make them out. But the Hollies and Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Anyway, but I couldn't make that out. But when they invented the internet, I looked up the lyrics once, and I was disappointed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people are convinced that they're singing dirty things, but they're actually not. Apparently, anyway, never mind. Big controversy, but when I'm listening, I guess when I'm listening, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that. Well, as I'm sure Bob, you've noticed by now, I'm not better than anybody else. But and I don't feel like I am. But It's just that my relationship with something, like I want to play things. I don't like, okay, you listen to this singer and stuff like that, and but I think, wow, I like that cool groovy thing. One of the coolest like bass guitar parts, and I almost brought a bass guitar with me tonight, but is the if you listen to "I Got a Name" that Jim Croce did, you know, back in the early '70s, the bass part in that is just astonishing. It's just like, and it really makes the song. It just makes it really exciting. But you know, and most people won't even hear it. I listen to it because I live the guitar player joke. It's not the bass player joke, but how many guitar players take the screw in a light bulb? 101, yeah. One is screwed in, 100 more is standing around saying, I can do that. So the bass player joke is just like how many bass players just take the screw in a light bulb? 1 5 1 5. But I kind of live the guitar joke, you know. I can do that, or I think, can I do that? And I don't know if I could do what the guy was doing on the bass. You know, I mean, I could probably play it if I work on it, but I couldn't. I wouldn't have been the one to invent that bass part. You know, the guy was great. It was amazing, and he was the only one. I think it's the only song he ever recorded with Jim Croce. The other bass player and the other cuts was really good too, but this guy was like all over the place and never in the way, which I think is like what makes a bass part exciting. But people listen to that song and they think, yeah, I like that song. Ding, ding, I got a name, I got a name. But there's this bass part in there that you wouldn't even hear consciously. But that's probably what's like working on you to a great extent. Anyway, oh well. I've often wondered what it'd be like if I tried to teach a music appreciation course. I think that'd be pretty wild and disjointed, I think.
We haven't mentioned where the people can come see you in person.
Well, let me tell you, I'll be in Kelowna this weekend. In the next 2 weeks, I can promise you that Friday night I will be there in all my, I was going to say full glory, but that doesn't really fit. I'll be there on my perch playing in the, at the Tuscan Moon, Kelowna, Iowa, right downtown. However, I'm not sure what's going to happen Saturday because they're going to have a Kelowna Days. They may have a band right there, and I might end up not playing. I might play early and then leave, give up when the band starts playing because they have the.
Drowned out by the euphoniums.
Well, it's not euphoniums actually. It's electric guitars. It's usually country music or something, or rock and roll. So
Or country rock.
or country rock, some derivation thereof. Anyway, so my little smooth jazz thing. And by the way, you can get beat up for saying smooth jazz in some circles, but the lighter side of jazz, they call it. That's what I've been playing there. That wouldn't be able to compete, so I would quit. So this Saturday is Kelowna Days, and next Saturday is the car show. So Warren, one of the owners of the Tuscan Moon, he's a car enthusiast. He has a is it Porsche or BMW? Oh, it's a sacrilege for me not to know. Anyway, he likes fancy cars. So they have a thing, and they'll have I went there one year, couldn't play there, so I just hung around, and they had the kettle corn and all that stuff, and they had all these cars, lined up, shiny ones, and it was a '59 Chevy, the shiny one with fins that won first prize. So they have these trophies and stuff. So that's next week. So I don't know, probably won't play at all then. So and then those are Fridays. So but yeah, those are on Saturdays. I'll be playing on Fridays. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I'm babbling incoherently, but yeah, I'll be there. Also, I think I've got a deal with the North Side Bistro, and I believe the first Thursday of each month, I'll be playing there, and they're gonna have a special deal. I should probably go there and bug them and ask them. They'll have a special menu and like a special feature or something like that, and I'll play special music for that. So it's like the first Thursday of each month. That's coming up pretty soon. So I think next week is the last Thursday of the month, or something like that. Or is it? What is the day? This is the 20.
Today is the 22nd,
So next week will be 20th, 29th,
29th next
30th.
Tuesday.
Thursday, yeah, 22nd. So 7th, 29 will be next. Well, next Tuesday will be 29th, 30, 31st. How many
Thursday will be
days?
the 31st, yeah.
Yeah, is there 30 days? Half September, all the rest of there's 31 days in this month, right?
Yes, this is August.
Okay, all right. I know it's August. I just don't remember which. 30 days, half September. That's as far as I get.
Yeah.
But
April, June, and November.
yeah, all the rest have 31 except for February that has 28 or 29. I don't know, man.
28 so fine, and each leap year 29.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, so a week from Thursday, I'm hoping to do something very something special. Now, that was kind of a good gig. I was doing it every week for a while, but there weren't enough people going there in the summer on Thursdays, so I didn't get laid off. I got downsized. So I didn't get fired. I didn't get laid off. I got downsized. So once a month now, which is fine. But there I was doing a steel string folk guitar thing because that seemed to really connect with people. And that was kind of fun for me to do because at the Tuscan Moon, all summer I've been doing a hollow body jazz guitar thing. And then before I was doing that Spanish guitar thing. So anyway. If anybody... Can anybody think of any other groovy gigs I could play? I'm ready to go. I've actually got 3 weddings coming up in September and October. So. That's right. I talked to one couple on the phone in Idaho, and they're coming here to get married for some reason. But and we talked it over, and they really didn't have any idea what music they wanted. We talked about it for a while, and then I convinced them to just let me wing it. Just play whatever comes into my head. They do the the seating of the grandparents and the parents, and then and then the groom will stand up there and everything like that, and then the bride comes down the aisle, and then they're going to have a meditation in the middle, and they're going to have a recessional, and then they're going to have some music for like a cocktail hour afterwards. So prelude, ceremony, and postlude, and then the cocktail hour. And for that, I'm going to play folk guitar, which I quite like, steel string guitar. And I just do whatever I feel like at the moment. I thought, that probably sound better than when we try to contrive something. Sometimes people choose their wedding music like 2 years in advance.
Went to my nephew's wedding. They had a disc jockey, and when the groom's family came out, they played the Evil Empire theme from Star Wars.
Oh, really? Yeah. I've never played that one before, but I won't do that for this wedding, though.
No, the groom's family thought that was a little off.
Did you think it?
Yeah. We aren't the Evil Empire. We're the good guys.
Yeah, I suppose. Whose decision was it to do that? I wonder.
Well, I'm just not sure. It may have been the disc jockey's decision for all I know.
Maybe they were supposed to pay and they didn't, or maybe they shortchanged him or something. I don't know. I try to not to let my personal issues like ruin somebody's wedding, because.
You doing the receptions at these weddings?
Yeah, probably. I think so.
Do the hokey pokey, the chicken dance,
I-
the hand jive,
I have never done those. I usually do like
Macarena?
no, I haven't done any of those. A lot of times I'll do the thing, you know, and make nice music and stuff, and then I'll have a DJ do those things. But there's that question in people's minds, you know, what if the hokey pokey really is what it's all about? Yeah, people say, what's it all about? Well, the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, I've actually never done the chicken dance or the hokey pokey, even as a dancer. I've been to parties before, I guess. And,
That's generally the only place I've ever seen them is at wedding receptions.
I should certainly hope so, but I've never been involved in that kind of thing, actually, myself. I usually pack up and
The
leave.
Hawkeyes do the hokey pokey after they win a football game, but
Yeah. Well, as far as I go in that direction, is I will do an instrumental version of "In Heaven There Is No Beer,"
yeah.
but that's about as far as I go. Quite frankly, I don't think I'd want if it were my wedding. And I know we've discussed this before, but I don't marry often.
I see.
I'm,
Good plan.
yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I'm on my first wife. So are you, right?
So am I, yeah.
Yeah, well. But it's cheaper this way.
Yeah.
You imagine if you had to pay have to keep her in the style that she's accustomed. And
Yeah, like Richard Harris said one time, marriage is a waste of time. Just find a woman you hate and give her your house.
that's right. There you go. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Huh. Well, I don't think my wife wants my house actually, but see what else.
No,
she
and you're
gets.
not getting divorced anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, there's no plan on the horizon. I'm not aware of any divorce plans anyway. Personally, I don't want to fool around with stuff like that. I've got, I don't know. There's so much
Can you
time.
imagine your guitars is community property?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, then she could sell half of them. And which half? And of course, what would she get for them? I mean, you can.
And since you're not famous,
That's right. My fame doesn't extend much beyond Johnson County, to tell you the truth. But I have a couple of loyal YouTube followers out there somewhere. But some
I
guy.
can never understand that anyway. Paying big money for something because it used to belong to somebody famous.
I hear these so I hang around guitar shops, and there's this sort of a braggadocio, I think they call it. I think people are talking about this guitar they got or whatever, and it was played by this famous person, and so the guy shows me his guitar on his phone, and it was some, and it belonged to somebody, and for that reason it's worth a lot of money, you see, but really it's
To a collector of that.
that sort of stuff. But to me, actually playing on it, for one thing, it's worth. I mean, if for some reason I had Eric Clapton's guitar, I would immediately sell it and take the proceeds to pay the taxes on it, and then with whatever's left over, I would pay some bills, or perhaps buy a whole bunch of guitars that I wanted. Maybe I would get that heritage guitar built for me after all, because I don't care if Eric Clapton had that guitar. If it's a really nice Stratocaster. If it's nicer than the Stratocasters that I already have, because I went through I've been going through the Stratocaster phase for decades, and I'm kind of like, I've sold a few, that I didn't like, but I think I'm pretty much going to keep the ones I got, because I have a bouquet of them, which is an upcoming show. As soon as I get that one guitar rack where you can put 7 guitars all in a row, but I have to play through my bouquet because they're all a little different. But anyway. But see, I don't care if Eric Clapton had it. I want, a Stratocaster that sounds a certain way. And they have the Eric Clapton signature model that they have at West Music. I took one home once to try it out. And I really didn't like it as much as my American Standard that I have. Straight-ahead Strat. Because this was not a guitar that Eric Clapton, played. It was just one that had his name on it, and it was built to his specifications.
Well, he had one that was real famous that he auctioned off for some charity that brought big money, and they tour it around guitar centers now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's we had these 2 guitars, Blackie and Brownie, and they were both old.
Blackie's the one that
Blackie,
got big money at an auction, supported some charity.
I have a black Stratocaster, just a production line, American Standard, and I almost brought it on the show. I thought about it. Actually, my brownie is the one I think I like better. It was having this little buzz and hum. Something was rattling in it, and I fooled around with it, tinkered with it, and I got it to go away. And they're supposed to be the same guitar with a different paint job, but they're very different. They're like two puppies from the same litter. They're different. I like them both. If I had to choose one, which I don't have to, I would choose the brown
Have
one.
them both.
Yeah, the brown sunburst one. But I kind of like the look of the black one better. But, you know, I don't know, man. What I need is a gig where I can play a little louder than I do most of my gigs. Not ear splitting rock and roll loud, but about as loud as I'm playing here. Maybe slightly louder. So I can use slightly bigger amps with fuller tones. And anyway, this is a Reverend Manta Ray. Sorry. Tomorrow's first day of school. I don't know what for us up at Coe College, and then and after that, early September 5th, I think is the first day of classes at Cornell College, where I'll be starting. So it's another. The summer's like over as far as I'm concerned. I've been slobbing around a little bit today. I slobbed around a little bit more yesterday, but
You're just getting to be real academic.
yeah. I'm an adjunct. That's academic lingo for temp, or some would say scab. But oh yeah,
Someone who needs to find his own health insurance.
that's right. I have to find my own health insurance, which is going to be pretty interesting here in a few months, because the individual thing is gone. You know, is going to leave. So, because I don't belong to a. I have jobs. I have many jobs. I work pretty much every day of the week, but I don't have a single job that offers health benefits. I'm like a temp. This is what they call the gig economy. Sometimes I play gigs, and sometimes I work for an institution, and I sign a contract with them, and I make promises, and they make some promises, like to pay me, but. That's right. And at the bottom of the thing it says you are not eligible for any of this or that or the other thing, you know. And one of them is a medical insurance or retirement benefits or anything. We keep you alive to serve this ship. That's from Ben-Hur, I think, when he was a galley slave. Anyway, so I think about thump, thump. Have you seen that movie with Charlton Heston? It's from the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
Ben-Hur, thump. He's in a galley slave rowing on the. I think about that. I mean, the navies used to be propelled by slaves. So this thing, it was like about I was probably politically incorrect to say white people never have to know that their ancestors were slaves. And I think, well, who wrote all those ships for the Romans and the North African galleys? Who do you think wrote? European slaves rode those ships. I mean, you know, well, it's probably not your ancestors because they're all dead. They use them up and throw them over, and the sharks never. All right. Now that I brought everybody down with the people have been mean. So my job at Coe seems relatively benign, doesn't it? Anyway. That's right. Just compare your job to that